You're listening to an old episode of Metal Gear Mondays. To keep up with all of the new episodes, please check out patreon.com/Metal Gear Mondays.
This week on Metal Gear Mondays. Oh, fuck, man.
Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to a side op episode of Metal Gear Mondays, our episodes where we cover listener responses, listener comments, criticisms, revisions, notes, etc., etc., etc. As always, I'm your host, Alessio Summerfield, and this week I am joined by Isaac Lim.
I am Morpheus.
And very sorrowful Sam. Sam, hello.
Hey.
Are you all right?
I thought I had to burp and then it hurt real bad and I didn't burp and some bad stuff happened.
Are you doing whippets on the
throat.
show again?
I'm doing whippets on the show again. I'm
Here he
very
goes.
sorry. Gomen
Jesus.
Nasai.
So real quick before we get started on the side op proper, first of all, I just wanted to give a big shout out to all of our guests thus far. Nick Freda, Zachary James, and Ben Garibaldi Smith, Patrick Smith, just everybody. Really been enjoying the season so far, and we've got plenty of cool guests coming up as well, including a listener, Craven Knight, who will hopefully be joining us for Act 4.
Craven.
But that being said, speaking of revolving chairs and all of that jazz, Sam has a message for everybody. And Sam, I'm going to give you the floor.
Hey guys, Sam here. God, no, because now I'm going to get all like emotional and I don't like doing that. So I've been doing a lot of thinking, a lot of stuff's happening in my life right now. And I've made the decision that once we wrap with Metal Gear Solid 4, that I will be stepping away from Metal Gear Mondays for a while. There's a couple reasons why, and the main one is that very recently, as in a couple of days before we recorded last episode, I got a phone call that I've been waiting for almost a year, and I got a job working very close to what I want to be doing in life in Seattle. So here at the beginning of May, I'm going to be moving from my small town in Ohio, and I'm going to be moving to Seattle and starting a brand new book, really. Forget the chapter, brand new book. And a lot of uncertainty is going to be happening in that transition period. And I do not want to I don't want to burden the podcast and not be able to give it my all the entire time. And another thing too, and it's something that I don't really talk about a whole lot, is that, and I don't know if I've talked with this on the Slack with some people before, but like my brain's kind of broken, and I have problems with not really depression anymore, but like anxiety and like bad stuff with my brain, and it's just kind of been affecting me a lot. And I think it's kind of it's stressing me out having to do this and having to play the game like homework a little bit. And having to focus on really heavy stuff, and it's just, I don't want the product to suffer because of me. So I've made the executive decision amongst myself to step away, yeah, there's not really a whole lot more I can say. I'm gonna miss doing it. This podcast, and the response that it has gotten over the last year plus has been fucking amazing, and I've appreciated every second of it, and I'm never gonna let that leave my heart. So thank you very much for everybody who listens to this, new, old, all the friends that I've made doing it. It's been awesome. So thank you.
Thank you, Sam. I truly, I just want to say that this wouldn't have happened without you. And for the folks that have been listening to Metal Gear Mondays, like, yeah, this is episode 60. But I think for like the first time in my life in like 7 years, me and Sam aren't going to be podcasting with each other. And I, without sounding super gushy, I don't know what not podcasting with Sam feels like anymore. So for me, like when I kind of got the notice and just 100%, so like Metal Gear Mondays as a show, Forever an Astronaut as like a creative studio, like supports Sam a million % in anything that Sam wants to do. So like, just know that from us, Sam, like we really appreciate the time that we've spent with you, and anything that we can do to kind of help you as the rest of your life continues, we're there for you and can't thank you enough for everything that you've done. But like, just in general, from like old geek time and doing these shows and just like having this like weird pen pal internet voice relationship that then became like a physical friendship. And then you and I got to share a lot of really cool memories in person, even though we've only seen each other a few times. It's just, I don't know, the whole fucking thing's been really cool. It really warms my heart that like Patrick Smith, who's in the UK, who for all intents and purposes prior to 3 months ago didn't know who the fuck Sam Wright was, clearly saw the same things in Sam that I saw whenever I talked to him for the first time, which is that Sam is the best pod boy. So I just want to say thank you for everything. Thanks for being a ton of fun to work with. Thanks for agreeing to work on this like really fucking excruciatingly long pet project of mine. And like realistically, like we've recorded like 85 hours talking about a fucking single video game. Like what the hell? So thank you so much, Sam. Now I have excuses to go to Seattle. So thank you for doing that. And I honestly, I'm so fucking happy for you. Truly, because like it really is like a once in a lifetime kind of like opportunity that you've been given. So I just want everybody to know that like there's no like weird ill will, and like it's also super important with like how many like weird things have happened with the show that like Sam was super transparent and like upfront. And like I respect the shit out of that. And like, yeah, we're gonna be sad to see you go. By the time that episode rolls around, like the show will have been going for like almost 2 years, roughly. So like, it's fucking crazy. And hopefully we can have you on at some point in the future. Like once things.
I'm not just like gonna go away.
Yeah.
Like I'll pop in every once in a while and say hey and be on like special episodes, but like it's just not something I can do week to week anymore. It's just it's with all the changes that are happening in my life, I need to focus on myself a little bit and kind of like focus on the things that like I'm like really fucking passionate about, you know. And it's been, and it's not that I'm not passionate about the podcast, because like I've been part of it since the beginning. I remember when this thing was a weekly article series on Geek Time that Alessio wrote every so often, and then like it evolved into what it was. And it's just like I never ever thought that I would be able to interact with so many people who liked the stuff that I did, because when Geek Time started out way back when, it was just like we did the podcast as like a goofy thing, and then we just like Alessio had this idea to do this podcast, and it just kind of took off a little bit, and it was just like interacting with all these people. It's really gratifying to know that people care, especially in a world where it's hard to focus on that aspect. So like I said, I couldn't be more grateful to everybody who listens to the show. I couldn't be more grateful to Alessio for coming up with it and having me and putting up with me every week.
It's
couldn't
nothing
be
to
more
put up with. So
I couldn't be more grateful to Isaac for being a fucking ray of goddamn sunshine in my life every time
Christ,
I
Isaac, like,
talk to him.
Thanks for letting us drag you through the mud, buddy. Like,
Oh my god.
It's kind of
like we play. Isaac is like one of the favorite parts of my week typically.
it's kind of weird how Metal Gear is so oddly magical. You know, it didn't mean to. Kojima didn't mean for this to happen, obviously. But I mean, this is how I met you, Sam, and doing this podcast, and it was just an off whim. I was kind of when I first heard that, because I think when it first started, I thought it was just gonna be me and Alessio, and then Alessio was like, yeah, and then this other guy, Sam, was gonna be on it, and then Cameron too, and so I was like, okay, I know Cameron. So that'll be okay, but I'm not sure about the Sam guy. It's kind of
weird. He said the same thing to me too. He was like, I don't know about this Isaac guy. Kojima's sitting
crazy,
somewhere being like, oh, Isaac, Alessio, and Sam are talking about Metal Gear. My mission is complete.
That'd be hilarious.
Christ almighty, if I got I'm openly weeping right now. If I was that emotional saying goodbye to the fucking podcast, I can only imagine what saying goodbye to everybody that I live here with is going to be like.
Well,
Christ.
way to rank us with the people you live with. So
I'm not saying, you know what
No,
I
I
fucking
know, I'm
mean.
kidding.
Like my family, my dude.
So,
Anyway,
real
can
quick,
we-
Sam. So, before we shift gears? So, what's in Seattle again?
Yeah. I'm going to be working for CBRE, which is a company that it's technically a real estate company, but they manage Microsoft's campus essentially, and there's money there. So I'm very excited about that.
That's awesome. Well, cool. So on a brighter note, this episode is also a
Yeah, can we-
of listener submissions. So let's fucking
Yeah, I was gonna say,
do
can we
that.
be funny now? Can
Yeah.
we be fucking funny for just like a second, please?
Yeah.
Can we laugh?
Real quick, just to suck all the wind out of those sails. Can you read that iTunes review that you have pulled up?
Oh yeah, let's go for. Oh my god, I'm going to read this thing unedited in its full glory. So we got an iTunes review at the beginning of the month from Red Stang, good old Red Stang, 5 stars with
Stang it up.
with the review. The title of the review is "It's Worth 5 stars."
Thanks.
Red Stang says the podcast is okay. There isn't any famous people on it, and I get weird looks when I listen to this in the bathroom. I recommend you use headphones for this one. They also continuously leave the Sir off of Sir Matt Campbell's name. They also kept saying the second game was the best. I agree with them until they said it was Sons of Liberty. Their continuous their continuous hatred of the purity of Snake's Revenge is a little upsetting. If I'd change anything, I'd add some tax advice. They are due in just a few weeks, and no mention of this, which I'm going to pause for a second. As we're recording this, taxes were due yesterday.
So if you're listening to this,
Too bad.
you're like a week out.
Sorry.
So
My advice is should have done it sooner. There we go.
extension, file for extension. Everybody, if you're listening to this
File
and you
for
forgot,
extension. Right
file.
now. File.
If you're in the UK, I don't know what the fuck you do. Put your money in a shoe and throw it off the side of it.
Put your money in the shoe and just worry about how you're not part of the European Union anymore.
Yeah.
Red Stang continues. One of the hosts is blind, and they always make fun of him fumbling around in the dark. Hey, I think it's impressive that he can actually play the game.
Yeah, we're actually very insensitive, and we've been mocking Isaac this whole time.
It's okay. I'm used to it.
Spoilers, Isaac is blind, actually.
Yeah.
He continues, if this was truly a great podcast, I'd give it the full 100 stars, but it's not, so I'm only going to give it 5. Anyway, I wished you guys a long life and many Transformers sequels. Mark your mark for life. Peace out. Red Stang. Thank you, Red Stang.
Thanks, Stanger.
For
That was good.
quite possibly the best review I've ever read in my life.
Yeah, that might be the best review we've ever gotten. So somebody needs to top that. Get on that, reviewers.
Ooh. I don't know. I like that was a really good review. I think as far as listener responses go, I still think I'm gonna put Danielle's email at the top of the list. So
Oh my gosh.
Isaac, do you wanna take us away with your favorite friend here at the top of the list?
I sure will. We have an email from the great LMM, Liquid Metal Mike.
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 He
Magic
says,
Mike.
bros.
Oh,
Solid episode as always. That dude had me dying. That's a funny. Anyway,
that'd be good. That'd be good if you read that and then reacted to it.
that dude had me dying when he switched to his liquid impression. Wait, what happened?
Patrick, remember he did his liquid snake.
Oh yeah.
Oh, here I can read this
Sorry.
next sentence for you real quick. Spot on as fuck.
Well, I was gonna.
Oh, were you trying to like coax Alessio into one of us to read that so you didn't have to?
No.
read
I
the
was
fuck
gonna
word?
go for it.
Oh wow.
Were you gonna read it?
Yeah, you ready?
Go for it.
Yeah, let's go.
Spot on as fun.
It's a real funky spot.
It's a real funky spot. God damn it. Okay.
Then he goes on to say, I was wondering something while listening. When was Solidus first mentioned in the games? I remember in the instruction booklet from MGS1, in the character section, there is a comic-style illustration, and I swear Solidus was in there. I wish I still had the booklet, and so I'd take a picture. Was he ever mentioned in the game, though? I can't remember anything until MGS2. Hoping one of you guys can remember better than I can. Stay boxy, you gray foxies. LMM.
That.
LMM stands for Love and Metal Mike.
Oh, yeah.
So I will say this: I did respond to Liquid Metal Mike like immediately, and I was like, I swear to God, they name dropped Solidus in MGS1 in the post-credit scene.
They do, yeah.
Yeah, and
I
that's
believe so.
and I double checked it, and somebody said it on like a forum post or a wiki or something, but I have not gone back and watched it. But I do know that they also name dropped President George Sears a couple times as well. So both names appeared in MGS1. So there's your answer.
I'm walking through. I'm like scrolling through a PDF of the MGS1 manual, and it's like you scroll down and they're like talking about the controls, and like how to do things, and like the last one is just like straight up torture event.
Oh yeah,
with a picture of Snake in the torture rack, and it's just like, okay, if you're just gonna spoil a very big part of the game in the book, sure.
Thank you guys.
That's cool.
Adam Anderson via email. The Stanger is back. Says, last side opt, you asked what I think of Twin Snakes. I bought it the day it came out, and I still have it. I can't really comment on the gameplay because I haven't even had my GameCube hooked up in over 10 years. I did go back and watch some YouTube videos on the comparisons. I really don't like the Super Kung Fu Snake in the cutscenes. It is way out of place when Snake can do that in the cutscenes, but not in gameplay. I also think that it looks ugly. The colors are off with everything looking green and pale. How can Sniper Wolf and Meryl be hotter in the original PlayStation version than in this one? Rex's dinosaur screams were missing in the final fight. I don't know why, but that really bothered me. Main reason I haven't gone back to play it is just much harder to connect a GameCube to a modern TV and have it look halfway decent. It's so much easier to just use the PS3 and play the original. On a side note, maybe you can do an episode on Snake in Super Smash Brothers games. I know it's not much, but there are some really funny codec calls in it, such as Snake having the hots for Samus and wanting to know how Yoshi tastes. Or some more in-depth episodes on just what the timeline of the MGS story is. I love these games, but I'm still confused on everything with the Patriots. So Adam, thanks for that response. I love it when we get responses to our responses. It's good. It tells me that you guys are listening. So I really appreciate that. Likewise, I really appreciate all of your activity in the Slack and being one of our patrons. So thanks so much. But yeah, I will say we've definitely talked about doing some sort of like side-off sort of episodes. So that being said, for the first time ever on the air, I'm actually going to go through real quick what I've got written out as our schedule for this year and next year. Yeah, so I actually mapped out like the whole fucking show the other day. So what we're gonna do is post MGS4. We're gonna do Metal Gear Online for MGS4 edition. I'm gonna talk about Metal Gear Touch and some of the more mobile games. We're going to then do Zone of the Enders: The Second Runner before we do Peace Walker, just because I think that that's dumb that we didn't do that yet. And then we're gonna do Snatcher as our like 2-year anniversary, like end of 2017 show. And then we are going to come back after the holidays, after taking a break for the holidays. We're going to come back in January of 2018 and do Metal Gear Rising. But I will say this, we can probably slam through the rest of the entire fucking series and be done by the end of 2018 and call it a show and just walk away. But I don't want to do that because I want to try and keep the show going until Survive gets released so that we can talk about that and any other Metal Gear things. So we'll probably, in between major releases, have some interstitial stuff, kind of like with Snatcher, kind of like taking a look back at Hideo Kojima between Metal Gear and other games. So I do really want to talk about like Metal Gear plot questions, chronology, maybe do like Metal Gear in other media, talk about like movies and games that inspired Metal Gear and movies and games that were inspired by Metal Gear, and then having like episodes dedicated to the music and stuff like that. So keep an eye out for that, but that is our 2017 into 2018 schedule that I just read. That being said, since Sam is taking off, we are going to have Forever an Astronaut second half significant other, James Reichmuth, is going to be stepping in and filling Sam's massive shoes. And James has like no fucking background with Metal Gear at all. So yes, it will be like having a second Isaac on the show as far as experience. Actually, at this point, I will say that Isaac is fucking like a vet now. Like Isaac, by the time MGS4 is done, Isaac will have played like all of the main story, which is great. So James will be the new guy, and James will be playing Zone of the Enders with us, and Snatcher, and Metal Gear Peace Walker, and all that. So
I'm no rookie. I'm a 10-year vet.
Yeah, right. So it'll be great. But that's just to kind of give you a little bit of background. And we've got actually another response that asks about special episodes. So, and if you guys ever have ideas for episodes, definitely let us know. Like I said before, if you back us at the $1 level minimum on Patreon, we will have polls. So like, if we're going to do like games inspired by Metal Gear, we might have a poll up there that's like, hey, we're going to play Hitman or like one of the Deus Ex games or whatever, and you guys can vote, and you guys will get to pick what we talk about. Just like inspirational films, like movies that inspire.
Cool fucking deal. Cool fucking deal.
Right?
You should talk about Escape from New York.
Yeah, dude. It'll be great. And likewise, too, for one-off shit like that, I will try and coax Sam if we can get him. So
Yeah.
Woo! Sam, do you want to read Mark Knight?
I would love to. Mark Knight via email has a question about Act 3 that he's hoping we can get to the bottom to because it has been bugging him for years. Mark says, "The apple, the damned apple. I first noticed it when Snake, Liquid, and Big Mama have their confrontation on the bank of the river in Eastern Europe. After beating the crap out of Snake, Liquid is offered an apple by Big Mama, who reaches out to Liquid and says, 'Adam!' On the wall just behind them is written the numbers 0312. Eva offering an apple to Adam, not to mention adding a snake into the mix, led me to look up chapter 3, verse 12 of the book of Genesis, which relates to the whole eating of the forbidden fruit.
Whoa.
And the man said, 'The woman whom thou gavest to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat.' I've never been able to figure out what Kojima was alluding to with this reference, as it is often thought of as the fruit of forbidden knowledge, or alternatively, as the knowledge of good and evil. The apple also makes an appearance when Drebin offers it to Snake. I've seen a few threads on forums making the case for the apple symbolizing friendship, but I'm not sure that's right. Maybe I've just been reading too much into it, but I have never been able to discuss this with anyone else without encountering baffled looks. Anyway, great to have you guys back. Your podcasts make the start of the week so much better." And that is Mark Knight.
Yeah, and thanks again, Mark. So Mark actually wrote in for Act 2 and then included this in a response to Act 2 that I wanted to save for Act 3. But thanks for writing in, Mark. We really, really appreciate it. And yes, depending on how things go politically in the United States, I might be joining you in your Brexit, like, outer heaven oil rig. So we shall see. But yeah, and Mark and I kind of had a little bit of a conversation about this via email. We talked about it a little last episode, but I'd be curious, Sam and Isaac, what you guys think. I'm sort of the opinion that the way that like Westerners use like kanji to like make shit look cool, I almost feel like this is like Kojima and company just using like Western religious symbolism because it's neat and has to do with snakes. Like it doesn't really feel like it was like symbolism that they'd had in the back of their heads this whole time. It just kind of feels like stuck in there. What do you guys think?
Yeah. I mean, the Bible verse is kind of interesting, having the number on the brick or whatever. I think it's, I mean, to your point, it is kind of, I think it's like they tried.
Yeah, right.
But
they're like,
was,
oh well, we got snakes and we got moms and dads.
They got like it was like, all right, we'll give you guys a participation trophy for trying to be deep here.
So it's like,
and granted, they had Adam and Eva in MGS3, so there was like an Adam and Eve reference then, but like it just feels kind of loose.
And I also think that like the whole idea of Adam and Eve is fairly, I don't want to say universal, but pretty well known around the world. But I think this Apple theory is kind of loose. Although
I doubt it's the kind of thing where it's like, oh fuck, all of Metal Gear fits into the Bible. Like I doubt it's one of those things. But
no, that'd be crazy.
That reminds me of like
Enable, liquid and solid. Oh fuck!
Oh
fuck!
shit! Yeah, and Big Boss and Zero's like Lucifer and the Fallen Angels. It reminds me kind of like the end of one episode of Venture Brothers, just random non sequitur. I think it was like I think it was Brock Sampson's boss from like the agency that he worked at. I can't remember what the hell it was called. But he, at the very end, like his head is in the clouds and it just like tilts up to his head in the clouds and he says, and you can read more stories like this in the Bible. And then it just cuts to credit. Like, it's so funny.
That's funny. But
yeah.
To wrap it up, I mean, I think like it is to that effect where Americans will, or English people will put random kanji letters or Japanese characters. I think I had the idea like Eva was trying to give him the knowledge or whatever, and then Ocelot or Liquid just kind of denies that temptation and doesn't want that knowledge and just kind of does his own thing. I think that's, I don't know, I think that's what they're going for in that.
Yeah. I feel like it's just pretty on the nose. Like there's not like, I don't think there's anything deep. Yeah. But what do you think, Sam?
So I mean, honestly, Mark, the long and short of it is you're reading too far into it,
Apparently.
Yeah, believe it or not, in a Metal Gear game, you're reading too far into something.
Man, never thought it would happen.
Yep. Nice.
No, I don't know. I can agree with that. It just seems very, like, direct and on the nose for what they're doing. Like, it just seems a little too... what you guys were saying.
Appreciate that. Isaac.
My brain rebooted there for a second.
I was installing updates. Isaac, do you want to read Kenneth?
I will. Kenneth Crenshaw, coming at us from the Facebook.
Facebook?
Yes, the Facebook.
Hey,
Facebook.
Faccia is Italian for face.
Alessio,
what up?
When I come and visit at the end of the month, can you make some faccia bucce for dinner?
I'll try. I got to dig up some old Sicilian recipes for the real authentic faccia bucce.
Sure.
Anyway, Kenneth, he writes to us saying, just binged every episode, loving the pod. Just wanted to show the handicaps I have to endure to play the games. This game being Undertale.
Yeah, and there's a picture included.
Okay, yeah. Oh, this is the one. And show off my favorite hoodie. It's a Foxhound hoodie. And the little fox emoji. And then he says, peace.
Yep.
A little peace emoji.
Yeah.
It's another peace emoji.
And the picture on Facebook is of Kenneth with a sweet baby in his hands playing Undertale with his toes. So, thank you, Kenneth.
Awesome.
A+, Kenneth.
You're a hero.
All the things we said at the beginning when Sam was talking about leaving. That's what applies here. So, thank you for listening. Good, sir. Woo! Woo! So Ben Garibaldi Smith, good sir, Mr. Smith, our first UK Smith. Ben says, "Hey guys, I also spotted the tall, skinny trench coat guy, and he posted a picture, and it's very unnerving of trench coat man or three boys
Oh,
in the bushes.
the little kids stacked on top of each other, following you in the beginning of the act.
Yeah. He said if you look at him through the solid eye binoculars, he doesn't pull back and hide. I spotted him for the first time on this playthrough. I'd had no idea he was there before. Neither did I. So that's spooky. It's a real like Slender Man feeling.
I did that on accident one of the first times I ever played this game, and it scared the fuck out of me.
Sam, do you want to read another Smith?
Yeah. We have another Facebook from a second Smith. This time it's Matt Smith.
They're all actually from Killer 7. They're all like the 7 Smiths.
Matt Smith says, ooh, God, so much shade here. Matt Smith says, I know it's a ways off, but I can't wait to hear Isaac, quote, fumble in the dark when you guys try and cover the atrocity, he says, that is Metal Gear Solid 5.
Shots fired.
I think my copy has a glitch. Maybe it's just the nature of the beast, but it feels like I play it for months and I'm only ever 10% complete. Jeez.
Woo!
Yikes, man.
Yeah, Isaac, I'm real amped to hear how the fuck you string together what we talk about in 5. But
Well, I'm terrified.
So the real reason I'm leaving is I don't want to play Metal Gear Solid 5 again.
yeah, right. I wish I could leave. Like, can I get a fucking job in Seattle?
Why don't we all just leave?
Yeah, why don't we all just get jobs in Seattle and then we don't have to do the podcast anymore?
What we should do is the episode before, like hypothetically, say it's like episode number 84. We just do episode number 84, and then when we come back, it's like episode number 96, and we keep talking about the MGS5 season, but never actually like put anything out, and we never played it. Anyway,
That'd be good.
we won't do that. We'll do our due diligence.
Yikes.
So I will grab a dab at this last one just because of the context and stuff. So Zach Davis via Slack said, also, as far as non-game episodes of MGM goes, I think it could be a lot of fun if after the last game, or even on a game-by-game basis maybe, if you did a Jeopardy game-style trivia episode with maybe an extra couple guests on the show. I think the game's world is convoluted enough to make for some good questions/categories that would be possible to answer without being too obvious.
Yikes.
Having just been like the trivia master, so like I don't know shit about Harry Potter, but Kristen and a lot of our friends were going to go to this Harry Potter trivia night at a bar, and they actually like within like a minute of them opening registration, they capped out. So Kristen was like pretty bummed out. So I like in the parking lot was like, hey guys, let's all go back to the apartment. You guys make food and make drinks. I'm going to like study my ass off for 2 hours and make like a dope trivia like game for Harry Potter stuff. And I did it. I like cranked out like 45, 50 questions, and we did a game and had nothing but like Harry Potter themed food. And it was really cool. So to be able to do that with something that I know a lot about would be super fucking rad. And so I don't know when
I'd come back for that.
Yeah, I don't know when we would do it, but I definitely think that I could put together like multiple category Jeopardy style and just like have me and 3 other people. And I could be like the Alex Trebek and just have you guys like literally play like Metal Gear Jeopardy for like 2 or 3 or 4 episodes. So I think that'd be a lot of fun. So thank you for suggesting that, Zach. Would you guys be down for that? So Sam, you said you would. Isaac, would you be interested in that?
Yeah.
I'll try my best.
This is the guy who struggles with his segment at the beginning of every episode.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It'd be fun.
How
Watch
down
Isaac
he
fucking
actually
win.
is.
He just like Rain Man's his
Isaac-
way through it.
He's just like, he's hustling us.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know, guys.
I don't
You guys
know
wanna maybe
trivia
like,
stuff.
I was like, I mean, if you guys are into it, like, I'll try real hard. If you guys are into it, like, maybe we can bet money, like real money.
We get on it, and I'm just like, how many steps did the ladder in MGS3 have? And Isaac just fucking rattles it off like perfectly. He's like
Like Dustin
127.
Hoffman.
But
Fucking-
yeah. Also, real quick, David Lydon on Twitter.
All right.
Said, I'm just a man who's good at what he does, period. Dying. Solid Isaac. That doesn't have a twit. I don't know if that's a direct quote from an episode, but that's fucking rad. Cool. And so, real quick, before we dive into this next part, I just want to go ahead and read off all of our dope patrons. So, we don't have a massive amount of patrons right now, but I love everyone who's here because you guys are all engaging with the show quite a bit. And I can't thank you guys enough. So, first backer ever on Patreon for us was Nick Freda. So, thank you so much, Nick. Adam Anderson, a.k.a. Mr. Red Stang himself. Angelos Livanos. Ryan Emmet. And
You know how many fucking times we've had this problem?
I know.
Ryan,
I'm joking.
Ryan, please send an email.
And then
Tell us how to pronounce your
Samuel.
last name.
Samuel. Don't have a last name. Just Samuel-esque on our Slack. And I thank you so much, Samuel. Cool. But yeah, so the last thing that I have here is I have intercepted a transmission that has been sent to us. And I'm not sure who sent it or why or
gosh.
when, but I'm just going to play it, you guys. I'm just going to play it.
Okay. All right, let's go.
Cool. And now let's all listen to it real quick. So let me pull it.
Okay.
Oh, is this by ourselves? Are we
I don't know if you guys are going to be able to hear it. Here, I can try and play it. Can you guys hear it?
Hello, Metal Gear Mondays team.
Yes.
My name is Paddy Stardust. I was on a couple of episodes back, and I'm sorry I can't be with you this one, but frankly, I can't record at 2 in the morning because I get in trouble. The reason I'm calling in is to give you my thoughts on what I believe to be the greatest moment from Metal Gear Solid 4, and possibly one of the best moments in the whole series. Of course, I'm referring to the bang incident at the end of
Yep.
And to set the scene,
Yep.
Ocelot has just super CQC'd Snake. He's stabbed him with the stun knife. He's zapped him a few times. He's kicked his butt, and he's having his big moment. He's having his villain moment. Like, I'm powerful. You can't stop me. Try whatever you want. I got your number, Snake. So he jumps onto a boat together with Vamp and with Naomi, and he sees that the team are all there. He sees that everyone's there, and he decides to make his move to go away. And as he flies away on the boat, as he sails away, Meryl shouts out, "We've got you. We've surrounded you. We've got you, Liquid Ocelot." I may call him Ocelot. Excuse me, but she's got the task force that she got from that strange president she keeps talking about. Then 5 minutes of setting up. 5 straight minutes of the Ocelot boat going around in a little circle. And dudes pulling out their guns and stationing up and aiming their guns at this tiny boat that's just got Liquid Ocelot, Vamp, Naomi, a couple of frogs. That's it. And they've got like 200 dudes pointing at this boat with flashlights and helicopters and other boats and men on bridges. They are surrounded. Boats. Meryl's like, "We've got you. Give it up." And Liquid Ocelot doesn't care. He doesn't care. He's not even paying attention. Then he pulls out his hand and he fires off an almost gesture, the Ocelot hand gesture. It's a little bit more twisted, so his hand's tilted down a bit more, but he almost fires off the gesture, which turns off every gun that isn't one of theirs. Everyone's guns stop working. And fires off just this, "The system is mine."
He's so good
Perfectly
at it.
played.
That was a great voice.
And what he's showing you is that, by the way, I'm in charge now. SOP belongs to me. By doing this,
Fucking Captain Phillips, I'm the captain
used the
now.
corpse of Big Boss. He has used the data to take over the system. It belongs to Liquid at this point. So next up, he decides very calmly to look in the sky.
He's taking us beat by
He
beat.
points his finger
Thank you, sir.
in a finger gun, a ridiculous finger gun, and he takes very careful aim at one of the helicopters, and he says, "Bang!" The helicopter turns off. It starts going out of control. It flies out of the air. So does the other one. He shoots another one. It starts flying, collapsing. They land. They explode. People die because he pointed his hand.
This is
and
so
said
vivid.
The word "bang." Dudes start freaking out. So basically, he then aims his hand at the boat that Meryl and Snake and the rest of the Rat Patrol are on. And he points and he starts doing a little handshake, like he's going bang, 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 bang with his hand. And the frog's on his boat, fire, where he's pointing at the boat, in time with him, with his finger going bang, 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 bang. And this goes on for what feels like an hour of just shoot, 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 shoot. And that boat is getting ruined. Like, nothing good is happening on that boat. Bullets, bullets, bullets. And then, just as, a minute after he dies, he stops. And the guns all stop. Everyone's having a bad time. The Rat Patrol are in danger. Everyone's been shot a bit. Nobody's having a very good time. Then he pulls his hand to his head. And he points the gun at his own head. And once again, bang! At this moment, everyone with nanomachines in the surrounding area, every single person pointing a gun at Ocelot, start freaking out. They start getting the emotions go out of control. They start laughing and screaming and crying, and it's all going nuts. None of their guns work. They're just staggering and screaming, and people are falling off the bridge. It's all going nuts.
I need to get Paddy to do some VO.
And then commences Ocelot's crowning moment of excellence, and my favourite moment of ever. He hops up on the barriers of that boat. He puts his feet astride the handrail. He cocks his hands to the sides, a finger gun with each hand, and just starts firing his finger guns off. And the frogs beneath him are shooting at everyone. And he's going, bam, 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 spinning to the side, laughing and firing. Like, it doesn't, like, it's a crowning villain moment. It's, I'm on top. There's nothing you do to touch me. I'm not even shooting a gun, and I'm better than all of you. And he shoots so many of the guys. And introduces what he's done as the guns of the Patriots. He then decides this isn't enough. Takes a little look over to the boat where Snake is. Shouts, "Out of my way!" And they fire a rocket at the last boat that's up. Rat Patrol jump overboard. Johnny grabs Mera and jumps in. Snake leaps over the side as well. Vamp throws the corpse of Big Boss at the fire. Eva goes to rescue it. The fire goes up as well. She goes up. She's on fire. Liquid then shoots the corpse. Massive boom. Big fire.
Oh yeah,
Snake's
I forgot he
face
shoots fucking
ruined.
Big Boss.
He utters the best Otacon shout he's ever done. And then Ocelot takes a second, and he turns away to sail away on his boat. And you see him just have a little breath. And you see him take a moment to breathe out as they drive away on the boat. And on the face of it, this is his crowning moment. This is, I have all the power. I have the system. You can't touch me. Come get some. You can't beat me. I've won at this point. But for me, this isn't quite that. There's a hidden layer to this that I feel I can't go into too much at this juncture.
Thank you, Paddy.
Because things will be revealed later, I think, that put this scene back into context, that it's not the big villain moment that it seems. And the hints I will give you is that while Ocelot and his team have shot a hell of a lot of dudes, they have shot a lot of dudes, most of the main players get out of this unscathed. Obviously, Eva takes the hit here. But she kind of does that to herself. She runs in that fire herself.
That is true. That's a
Snake, Meryl, Rat Patrol, Johnny, Jonathan, Ed.
Jonathan.
Johnny sheds the stupid Akiba name. But they're all okay.
The other guy. The other
And
Jonathan.
they're all alive.
No, I know.
And
I just love how he name checked the B players.
makes me question everything up to this point about Ocelot's, Liquid's real motivations. And that's all I think I can say at this point. This is my favourite scene of the entire game. It's up there in my top 5 moments of the whole series. It is incredibly put together. It's far too long, but frankly, I don't care. It's astonishing, and I feel like I would be doing myself a disservice if I didn't call in and just tell you guys just why I wanted to talk about Act 3. It's this moment. It's this. And after that, I shall leave you back to your episode. Thank you for having me back on, albeit in radio codec format. And remember, it's just a bang.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. That sign off. Holy shit.
I love that, man.
I was going to say something completely different, and then he had to wrap it up with
That's
that.
amazing.
I love
Fuck.
that, man. Yeah, Patty, I'm just going to have to give it to you, brother. Like, it is just a bang, and you do a fucking great Ocelot and Liquid impersonation. So, woo! Well, fuck. Okay, on that note, you know all the things. Do the things. Cool.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys, and we will be
Bye.
back with a dope Act 4 soon.